My name is Robert Perez.
And I'm Rosemary, and we've been married for 10 years.
So life before the Lord was just confusing. Had an idea of who God was, or that there was a God, but didn't know him. He wasn't defined in any way. I never had a father figure. I wasn't raised with my biological father. It was just me and my mother. But I had uncles who were trying to instill in me manhood and being tough. And so at a young age, I was exposed to alcohol, drugs, and what have you. That was just the environment that I was in. And I got involved in a lot of different things. I got involved in sports a little bit. I was always musically inclined. But most of my time was spent experimenting with drugs and that lifestyle, and that took me down. That got me in trouble at least 3 different times. Ended up in jail, and that went on for a few years. And a friend of mine invited me to church. He says, "Hey man, we're going to church over here." And I said, "Well, I was thinking about this church or this church." So I visited. First time I went to church, I went to the front of the pew, real small church, maybe 50 members. Grabbed the tambourine, started playing, and people are looking at me like, "Who's this guy?" That was I was about the age of 20, 1987. Did a Bible study for a few months, got baptized, and served the Lord for 10 years strong. But through my journey, all these years later, it's been seeking balance, seeking to understand God, seeking to know his purpose and his will. And God has a way of connecting the dots in our life to show us, and he'll affirm it through different people and different circumstances.
Being married and being a blended family came with a lot of hardships, and it was a struggle. And I remember the scripture, well, if you just have faith of mustard seed, and I would think, that's easy, that's so tiny. But in those problems and in those distresses, a mustard seed felt giant to me. And I prayed for my kids, for our kids, our children, for Robert, for our relationship, because it was strained. And I just felt God say, leave it in my hands. And that was hard to do, because you want to control, you want to fix it, and you can't. And I just let go. And I just saw God move. And he started to work in the kids, in us. And when you feel you're at your lowest, or you feel there's a situation in your family and in your children that you have no control over, you don't give it to God. And he will do amazing things with it, with your faith of a mustard seed.
All I know is how I know God and what he's done in my life. And I see that he's able to do that for anybody. He wants to do it for anybody. It's a thing, it's a thing of faith. You tell somebody something and you encourage them, they begin to get faith, and that faith increases. And if they can hear a real situation, a real story, it wasn't ever perfect, and it's not perfect now, but with God's help, it's possible.